The rejection came quietly, almost politely, but it landed like a punch to the chest. As the glass doors closed behind him, the single father felt his last hope slip away. He had given everything he had in that interview. And still, it wasn't enough. He didn't know that just a few seconds later, one small act of honesty would make a billionaire CEO do something no one in that building had ever seen before. Before we begin, if stories of real human kindness, second chances, and unexpected hope move you, please take a moment to subscribe, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments. You're watching Kindness Action, a place where small moments change lives. Michael Carter adjusted his worn jacket as he stepped into the massive office building in downtown Chicago. The marble floors gleamed. The walls were lined with awards, framed magazine covers, and photographs of powerful people shaking hands. This was the headquarters of one of the largest tech companies in the country. For Michael, this interview was everything. He was 36 years old, a single dad to an 8-year-old daughter named Lily. Since his wife had passed away 3 years earlier, life had become a careful balance of school drop-offs, late-night homework, cheap dinners, and constant worry about money. Michael wasn't lazy. He worked hard. But layoffs had hit his last company, and ever since, he'd been jumping between temporary jobs. This interview was for a full-time position with benefits. Health insurance. Stability. A future. As he waited, he looked at his phone. A photo of Lily popped up on his lock screen, smiling with a missing front tooth. "This is for you," he whispered. The interview itself felt off. The panel asked sharp questions. Some were technical. Others felt cold. Michael answered honestly, but halfway through, he realized he was struggling. He hadn't used some of the latest software they mentioned. He tried to explain how quickly he learned, how loyal he was, how much effort he put into every job. One interviewer nodded politely. Another typed notes without looking up. Then came the final question. "Why should we hire you over someone younger, faster, and more up-to-date?" Michael paused. He could have exaggerated. He could have lied. But he didn't. "I won't pretend I know everything," he said. "But I show up. I work hard. I take responsibility. And I don't quit." The silence that followed felt heavy. 10 minutes later, a young HR assistant walked him toward the exit with a professional smile. "We'll be in touch," she said. Michael knew what that meant. As he stepped outside into the cold air, he let out a slow breath. He didn't cry. He didn't curse. He just felt tired. Deeply tired. He walked down the steps, hands in his pockets, already thinking about how he'd explain this to Lily. How he'd make another meal stretch. How he'd keep pretending everything was okay. Behind the glass walls upstairs, someone had been watching. Richard Hale, the company's founder and CEO, had been walking past the interview room when he overheard Michael's last answer. Richard was a billionaire, known for being tough, sharp, and nearly impossible to impress. But something in that voice had stopped him. Not confidence. Not ego. Just honesty. After the interview ended, Richard asked for the candidate's file. "He's not a fit," one executive said. "He's behind on some skills." Richard looked at the resume again. The gaps. The job changes. The note at the bottom, primary caregiver to child. Did anyone ask him why? Richard said. The room was quiet. Downstairs, Michael was already halfway down the block when he heard someone call out. "Sir." "Excuse me." He turned around, confused. A man in a tailored suit was jogging toward him, slightly out of breath. "I'm Richard Hale," the man said. "The CEO." Michael froze. I'm sorry, did I forget something?" "No," Richard said gently. "We did." They stood there on the sidewalk as people passed by, unaware that something unusual was happening. "I heard your interview," Richard continued. "Why didn't you try to impress us more?" Michael swallowed. "Because I needed a job, not a performance. And because my daughter deserves a father who tells the truth." Richard didn't respond right away. "How old is she?" he asked. 8, Michael said. "She thinks I can fix anything." Richard smiled, just slightly. I grew up poor, he said. My father worked 3 jobs. He missed birthdays. He missed school plays. But he never missed being kind. Michael looked down, surprised. I don't hire perfect people, Richard said. I hire real ones. Come back inside. Michael thought he had misheard. I failed, he said quietly. You were honest, Richard replied. That matters more. Inside, the tone changed completely. No panel. No pressure. Just a conversation. Richard asked about Lily. About Michael's routine. About what he needed, not just professionally, but as a father. By the end of the meeting, Richard slid a folder across the desk. It was an offer. A role with training included. Flexible hours. Remote days when Lily was sick. Full benefits. Michael's hands shook as he opened it. I don't know what to say, he whispered. Say yes, Richard said. Then go home and tell your daughter her dad didn't give up. That night, Michael cooked pasta from a box and sat across from Lily at their small kitchen table. Did you get the job? She asked. He nodded. She jumped up and wrapped her arms around him. I knew it, she said. You always come back. Months passed. Michael worked harder than ever, not out of fear, but gratitude. He learned fast. He helped others.